So to show you where I'm at in the overall, big picture of UDL guidelines, I'm going to go to cast.org, okay, and here I am on the CAST website. I'm going to click on the button up here, UDL guidelines, and so I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look at this, at the big picture. And right now, the area that I'm examining for my instructional context, the first area is in the action and expression category, and I'm down here at interactions. So notice interaction is labeled number 4. I can click on that and it'll just explain it to me a little bit, and then it will also list out the 2 design considerations that they describe for interaction. You can also get to that by going to by just clicking one of the 2 design options down here. It'll take you to the same information, and I am interested in looking at optimizing access to accessible materials for my students in this project. So this is design consideration 4.2, optimize access to accessible materials and assistive and accessible technologies and tools. And there's some good information here about that if you're not quite sure what that means. So that's where I'm at. I chose this one, 4.2. I could have chosen 4.1 in this category, but I chose 4.2. So I'm going to go back to my Word document now. Oh, there you are. Okay. So I'm going to go back here, and you'll notice that, so I copied the specific consideration or strategy in this column for 4.2. I then described what I'm going to do with that, about that strategy in my learning experience. So as you can see, I said that I will make sure the students can create their data graphs using a computer or by hand with graph paper. So that's one of the choices. And then as far as what technology I might use to support that, so again, if you're not sure how to answer or how to address this one, you might need to do a little research, go online. But what I say here is that I will ensure that accessibility features in any software that is used, like Microsoft Excel, that those features are available and understood by my students. So I'll orient them to what some of the accessibility features are in Excel if anybody might need that to be successful using that as a tool. So that's what I did under my first UDL guideline. So let's go. Let me go through just one more, and that is that I have to address engagement, welcoming interests, and identities. And you'll notice that I selected optimized choice and autonomy. So again, let me just show you where that is in the on the CAST website. Let me scooch this back over. And here I am. I'll go back to the main big picture here. Here it is. This is on the main CAST website. Here is the again, the big picture that presents information about all of the UDL guidelines. And I am going to the very first category, the green category, that is welcoming interests and identities. And I selected for the strategy that I want to address is optimize choice and autonomy. Now notice there are 4 options here, but that's the one that I picked. So I clicked on that. This is design consideration 7.1, optimize choice and autonomy. And I copied that and pasted it right into my document. And then it gave you some choices about what you might want to do regarding how to help students or how to provide choice and autonomy. That one's pretty easy because you don't really have to think that hard about it. So I'm going to go back to here, and you'll notice that again I pasted optimized choice and autonomy in this part of the of my chart. The description of the strategy is that student teams will be able to select the location of their choice, that they're going to be studying within the parameters of the activity. So it has to, as I mentioned earlier, it has to be an area that has not been manipulated by humans and that is wild in that respect. And they'll develop their own approach to organizing and displaying the data. So I'm not telling them how to organize their data specifically, and I'm not telling them exactly how, at this point, I'm not telling them how their graphs need to be made at this point of the project. So then what are some examples of technology that might support their choices? So as I indicated, Google Slides will be used to present a number of examples of acceptable types of locations to study. So I'll give them some help there with examples. And the slides will also be used to present a variety of examples of how to create data charts and different types of graphs. So I'll do that rather informally at first, but I will use technology to communicate the different choices that they might be able to make. So you'll notice for instructional context, you have 3 UDL design guidelines that you have to address. Notice that I am including the design option numbers here. The category numbers are over here already included for you. And so what you're going to have to do when you finish your context is you're going to have to then go do the same thing for your introduction. And there's 2 guidelines that I want you to address for the introduction. And then you've got 2 that need to be addressed for the activity information presentation part of the of your lesson. I'm sorry, there's 3 actually. 1, 2, 3. There's the third one. And then finally there's 1 that you have to do for the review part of your lesson or learning experience. And when you're done with those 3, then I want you to answer the reflection questions in the document as well. And that is the whole scope of this project. I hope you understand it. I hope you know where you're going to look for information about these things. And one of the biggest things this project is going to do for you that I'm really that I'm very happy about is that it is going to force you to really study and examine in more detail the guidelines, the UDL guidelines, and that's the whole point of this particular project. So as always, let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I know the directions are a little bit obscure until you actually see how to apply it to the project. So good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.